Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Magical Universe Coaching, and we're here with the founder, Charity Golden. Welcome to the show today. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing beautifully. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's exciting to have you from Indianapolis, correct? Indiana?
Yes,
And
Indiana.
let's talk about what you do as a coach, because clearly it's magical.
Yeah, actually that's my intention for me myself, my true choice was to find the magic in my own life and help others to find the magic in theirs, by letting go of their limiting beliefs and their past and the structure that they've been stuck in. Basically, I help people to have that perceptual shift and train their consciousness to work for them.
Fantastic. So you are a certified magnetic coach. Could you explain the
Yes.
correct terminology? I want to say it right.
I'm a
Magnetic mind coach.
Magnetic Mind Coach. I'm a certified magnetic mind coach, and that's Christopher M. Duncan's program. He founded the Rapid Recode process and this program, and so I went through his training, and basically everything that I do in my coaching is what I learned in my training, and the masterclass that I offer is actually his masterclass. So you get to learn from the man himself. It's basically that I went through the masterclass on my own at first and saw the changes that it made in my own life. And then that's when decided I wanted to be a coach and I wanted to do it myself. So I went through the training and I've been coaching, and I love it. I love it. Seeing people's lights turn on and seeing them regain their power, like would just take their power back, which for me was so huge. A lot of my life I was in a place of giving away my power to everyone. I just grew up in those patterns, and that was the way I lived. And the thing is that you don't have to do that. You have power. You have power to create the life that you want to live. At every given moment, you can change your mind.
Beautifully said. So let's talk about some of the types of transformations and the types of people that you're looking to help and to make a difference with.
Sure. A lot of the people that I work with, and even the things that I've experienced myself, are dealing with a lot of the fears, and the beliefs. There's core woundings. Basically, what we call the human journey, and I think I touched on this last time. Is that basically, in the womb we're a pure creative spirit. We have it all, right? We have nothing, no lacking. And then when we're born, we go through this process of become separate. We realize we're separate around the age of 2, and that's called the individuation process. And in that process of becoming separate, we realize we don't have it all. I have needs. And so what we do is we create up these rules for how we go through life, and those rules become our beliefs. And the problem is that those beliefs then in turn create our reality, right? So what you perceive, what you believe, you perceive. And so we get trapped in the past and are actually running our life from this unconscious place of when we were 4 years old.
Wow.
And those things no longer serve us. And our ego works for us in a way that to protect us, right? It wants to keep us safe. The whole idea of our ego or the whole purpose of our ego is for survival.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us are stuck in survival mode, and I help people to get into thriving, not from surviving to thriving.
I
Right?
love
Because
this. Yeah.
yeah. So there's people that have had relationship issues, and it works for everything. Money issues, seeing the blocks that you have towards wealth and money, because sometimes the truth is that we can have these blocks with money and think that money, have these beliefs that come from our family rules, from our family history, that money is bad,
Yeah.
or that people who are wealthy are bad people, or that we have all these beliefs that I can't be trusted with money, or I'm poor. I'm identified with poor or lack. And so what we do is we get down to those. We do. There's one process we can do. It's called the 3-chair process, and that's where you put a lot of these are visualizations. Right. And the power of our mind is so amazing. And so you're in one chair and you have money in the other chair, and you experience what it's like, your relationship with money, and you experience it from both sides. And then you go into your genius self, what we call your superconscious self, and we get to have that distanced perspective of that relationship. It's just amazing the things that you can glean and the clarity you can glean from that, like that, and choose differently. You
Wow.
can choose differently. Go ahead.
Great. So, Charity, by the way, how can we get in touch with you? What are the best forms of contact? Can we reach out to you?
Sure. You can reach me by phone at 317-529-4476. Or you can reach me also at magicaluniversecoaching.com or magical YOU universe, universecoaching.net. So I
Great.
have a lot of ways you can reach me.
Perfect. Just want to make sure we get that out there. So, what did you have in store for our listeners and viewers today?
What I thought we would do is a simple, it's a, one of the, if you're game for it, there's a simple exercise called anchoring.
Sure.
And what that is it basically allows you the first steps to seeing that you have the power to change even your emotions, that you're in control of your emotions. Like for me, excuse me, a lot of my life, it was like the emotions were the winds in my sails, and
Mhm.
wherever whatever I felt is where it took me. And the truth is that your feelings and your thoughts aren't real. And I know that some people are going to cringe to that because I remember when I used to first hear it, I was like, oh my gosh, my feelings are real. They're
Mhm.
real to me. And that's not what I mean. I mean that, your feelings are real and they are valid, but at the same time, they're not necessarily a good reflection of the truth that or the reality that you're seeing or
Yeah.
experiencing at that time. Usually it's based on a past. So what happens with anchoring is it's based on science. It's based on a scientist named Pavlov. And he had this experiment that with dogs.
The ringing the bells.
Yes,
I
everyone knows
remember from high
this.
school. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. No,
Yes.
not everyone knows. Refresh my
Okay,
memory.
okay. So Pavlov's dogs. So he was doing an experiment, which was totally different than the outcome. And he was would ring a bell and feed the dogs, and then the dogs would come, and they would get fed. And so what happened is that eventually he would ring the bell, and he's noticed that the dogs would salivate. So without the
Mhm.
food, even without that, the outside stimulus created this internal response. And we all actually have experienced something like that, when we get triggered. It's basically that same mechanism. When we get triggered, it's built in already, so we hack it, right? And so with anchoring, that's just, it's like hacking that system that we already use. When you get triggered, and let's say you had, you experienced punishment as a
Mhm.
child, you got spanked or something, but right before you got spanked, there was this, your dad had this look on his face. And so someone looks at you with that look on your face, and you get anxious and you get scared and you start to feel these things because you have this mental imprint. And so this
Mhm.
is the same thing. So what we do with anchoring is we choose a feeling we want to feel, and we are able to access that at any time that we want. So we create a stimulus, and then when you want to use it, you either touch your knuckle or you wherever you put the anchor, and then you can feel that feeling on
Okay.
call. So
Awesome.
what is a feeling that you would like to, like a lot of people choose, I'd like to feel the feeling of my desired end result, which is, basically your true choice of, you can say, I'd like to feel happy, or I'd like
Yeah.
to, like, and if you think of a memory, what's great is we can use our memories
To
to
jog those.
feelings.
Okay.
Yes, because you want it to be something that you could feel intensely. And that's why the triggers work, because you felt it intensely. And so if you think of a memory, or we can adjust, if you when you close your eyes, and we'll dig into the memory. So I'm going to have you close your eyes for a minute,
Okay.
and we're going
Okay.
to, okay. And this is perfectly safe, and it's all you. And all I'd like you to do is think and imagine a time in your life where you were extremely happy. If you can think of a moment and put yourself back there and notice, I want you to paint the scene. I want you to feel all of your senses. Wherever you were there smells that you could smell? Were there people around? What did it feel like? And I just want you to grow that feeling. And imagine that it can grow. And if you have trouble imagining, imagine that you can imagine it and relax into it. And imagine who's there. Who's there with you in this happy moment? And paint a beautiful picture. And just be there. And the beautiful thing is that your brain experiences it as though you are experiencing it right now. Your brain is lighting up. The neurons are firing and connecting. You have this now. And I want you to go ahead and take your hand, your right hand, and wrap it around your left wrist. And go ahead and keep your eyes closed. Yeah, and that's what we're doing, is setting the anchor. And I want you to go ahead and grow that feeling of bliss, of peace, serenity, connection, happiness, and joy. And feel that in your heart and in your body. And as you grow it, imagine that it can get bigger, that you can feel it more. You can almost feel it buzzing through you. And as we peak and as you grow that, and as it's growing, I want you to go ahead and let go of your anchor. And then take a breath and come back to me. And now I'm going to ask you, what we do is we break state. So anything that we do with breaking state, usually what's funny, we ask something like, what does you smell that popcorn? And it gets people to like, what?
To
What
think
popcorn?
what? Okay.
And it kind of just breaks the state.
Wow.
And then what you want to do is go ahead and put your anchor back on.
Okay.
And see if you feel it. We're testing it. And see if you feel it.
I'm there.
Yeah. And so the thing is awesome. So that means it worked. So that's just the beginning step. What you do is you reinforce this in practice, like if you have a daily meditation, then you take a little time to reinforce your anchor. And so you just build it. So the way that you build it is just like what we did today, is just getting into the emotion. And as it's growing, you set your anchor. And as it peaks, you let go. And that just strengthens it. And what you'll find is that you can be in the middle, let's say, I was nervous about today, about the podcast. Before, what I did is I sat there and I put my anchor on because I had been reinforcing it, and it gave me the inspiration. And there's all kinds of things and processes like this that we do.
Yeah, you would never know
Yes.
that you were nervous at all. But let me ask, can you have more than one anchor?
Yes, you can. You can, and you can do it. There's a process called
Do I
collapsing anchors.
Do I keep my anchor here at all times? And if I move it to a new anchor would be in a different spot, or do I keep this
Right.
spot?
Well, if
I want
they're
to keep this one.
Yes, you keep
Can
this
I?
one. Yes, you
Okay.
keep this one. You keep this one, and you can build it. Just use those main emotions that you were thinking about and that you were feeling, and reinforce it with that. Right now, there's other anchors that you can do, and anchor processes that we do. Like I said, chain of anchors, collapsing anchors, there's so much fun stuff you can do with this. And there's basically like breaking down a trigger. You can actually collapse that trigger. So what you do is you can use your knuckles, each a knuckle. There's it just so long as it's a unique place that you won't accidentally be like, if you have a habit of like twirling your ring, you don't want to do that. Right. So you want to do it something that's unique, but something you can do in public.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Without people looking at you crazy,
Yeah, something's wrong with you. Okay.
Yeah. So how did that feel for you?
Good. Happy.
Yeah, happy. Yeah, happy.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing because, we usually our emotions happen so fast for us, right? But they're tied to a thought originally.
A memory. Yeah.
Right, and a memory. And basically what we're doing is we're dragging up a past feeling, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's a reflection of what we're experiencing right now. So with this work, what you get is the distance. You get the basically you get to step back and respond from your higher self, right? You have that choice. Choice is freedom.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's one of the processes that we do, and like with the Recode, that's more in depth. But like I said, a lot of it is visualization, and the reason it is because as I said during the process we were just doing, is that your brain actually lights up when you have a memory. It lights up exactly the same way as if you were
there. Yeah.
Yes. Like if I said, imagine a dog. An image of a dog would come to you, and then what would come to you is memories that you have with dogs. With dogs, right? Well, your brain, if I told you to even go deeper and I said, okay, if you close your eyes and you imagine a dog, now imagine petting a dog. And now imagine smelling what a dog smells like, or the fur. So I was just digging my face into my doggy's belly.
Yeah.
And I could smell it, I could feel it, and that is the way. That is the way with our 5 steps process, is that we get into the emotion and we're creating that emotional set point. Because when you feel happy, your body, when you trigger that emotion, chemicals are released in your body. And so what you can actually do is change, get yourself in a happiness loop. You can actually change your body chemistry out of the regularity of feeling, you may be feeling stress, or you may be feeling depression or sadness. You can actually do these processes and change the way you feel.
So if you were in a bad place at the moment, how would you go back to your anchor and for example, I was trying to living my thoughts of happiness, and I had a
Yes.
specific thought. So if I'm going through something difficult, or before I'm getting nervous before a show, I want to get happy. Do I physically hold the
Yep.
wrist, close my eyes,
And you can,
and
oh, you don't
bring
even need,
myself
you
back
can
to the
just
moment?
actually hold it. Yeah. Yes.
I
So you
still
can
want to close,
actually,
but okay.
yeah, feel it, whatever feels good to you. The whole idea of this work is that life is meant to feel good. Life is meant to be, but
Yeah,
life is
yeah.
also we're meant to experience the spectrum of our feelings, right? As human beings, we're meant
Mm-hmm.
to experience it. Without sadness, we wouldn't know the depths of happiness,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but the point is though, is that you allow yourself to be like, with if you're feeling something, if you're going through something, is to have the awareness of looking at it, experiencing it. The only way out is through, is what I like to
Okay.
say, is
Okay.
to acknowledge and validate that your feelings, honor your feelings. Your feelings
Mm-hmm.
are there for a reason, but what do they want to tell you? What
Wow.
are they telling you? And by going to that, we can actually unpack, and that is what we call unpacking. And we dig beneath the feelings to find what's holding them up. Where did they come from? What
Why are
root
we
events?
stuck?
Whose tapes are playing in your head? Who's that dialogue that you have going in your head. Like for me, I have these tapes that play in my head of you're not good enough, you're not capable, you're not worthy, you're insignificant, you don't belong. um, there's six core. I know I left one out. I keep leaving one out. I need to be perfect, and I leave that one out because that's my worst one.
See? Isn't that funny how the mind does that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's don't like it. So that need to be perfect. So you can be feeling these things, and acknowledge them, and figure out, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Because it didn't come from nowhere. We were built, we experienced these things, and we assign meaning to them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. That's why you can have two people who grew up in the same household under, let's say, there's an example of, two people grew up in a household with an alcoholic father,
Mm-hmm.
right? And one person ends up in as a criminal, and with addiction issues, and then the other person goes into the police force and goes into the healthcare field. So you can have, depending on the meaning. I can give you an example, a personal example. I had childhood abuse and dysfunction in my life, but I took it on to mean that I'm the victim. That I can be victimized, and that left me open. Whereas my sisters took it on as, I need to protect. I am a warrior. I need to fight, and I am strong. So it's just interesting. It took me a lifetime to get to where they are. That they took from it this meaning, this definition that changed the course of how they lived their lives versus mine, where I fell into the addiction and the abuse. Yeah.
I can relate. Look, I grew up in a very dysfunctional household. My dad was a drug addict. Parents fought all the time, and there was three of us. I was the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And by going through counseling as a child, I learned we all took on different roles, right?
Yep.
My brother became the drug addict and who left school. My sister
Mm-hmm.
just became the quiet mute. I
Mm-hmm.
became the overachiever. And
Yes.
everyone, no one's better than another, but like
Mm-mm.
we all came out of the house so differently. My brother still has
Mm-hmm.
the problems. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still the overachiever who also though
Mm-hmm.
can't get the relationship part right because I've never been
Uh-huh.
married. So I have my
Yeah.
battles with that because I saw how that affected my childhood. My sister got married.
Yes.
She's okay, but is
Yes.
she really okay? Everyone has their
Yes.
own set of issues, and it's right
That's
from
great awareness on your part,
I
as
am,
far as the relationship part,
yeah,
as far as where that root
scared to
stuff comes
trust,
from.
scared to
Yes.
trust, scared to let someone
Yes.
in because I see how my mom
Yes.
was. So I get, yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm
What I
open
would
about it, just haven't fixed
Yes.
it.
So what we would do in your case with the relationship is we would go to that true choice. And I talk about true choice a lot because that's the first step. Because when we make our choices, let's say, I've never been married, and I want a relationship, based on this idea, I have to have a relationship, or I don't have one, so I want to get one, right? This lack perspective, right?
Yes.
Versus making a true choice, what kind of relationship would you
Am I
just
looking
love?
for? And I should focus more
Yes.
on that then.
Because where you put your focus is where you put your energy, and it's also where what your mindset is, and it's what you see and what's going to come to you, right? Because all the time, at any given moment, we are taking in, I think it's 2 billion bits of information all the time, and our brain consciously can only consciously take in so
Handle.
much of it,
Uh-huh.
right? So much of it. So that what we take in is distorted, generalized, and deleted, the information based on this filter that we have, that we did when we were 4, right? Those beliefs, time and language, culture, values, and it's just this whole filter. So it's taken in through this filter. So if we put our focus on, and also what you focus on and what you resist, it persists.
So it's, you manifest what you're thinking. If you manifest
Yes.
negative, you're going to get negative, kind of like a
Yes.
karma thing. And at this
Yes.
time, Charity, I would like to take a quick commercial break. Would you mind
Awesome.
telling everyone how we can get in touch with you?
Sure. You can reach me at 317-529-4476 or magicaluniversecoaching.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Stand by. I'll be
Thank
right
you.
back.
Hello, I'm Charity Golden, founder of Magical Universe Coaching, and I'm here to tell you about a revolutionary new process called the Rapid Recode process that allows you to align with your goals and create a life you love. You can let go of your self-limitations, your self-sabotaging, all of the patterns that you've been carrying with you, and you can really and truly live the life you've always wanted to live. Go to magicaluniversecoaching.com or call 317-529-4476.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And we are back with Charity Golden, Rapid Recode. So that's what we're discussing.
Yes. The Recode is like the sizzle on the steak for our program, right? There's so many processes we have. But for me, the Rapid Recode, when I experienced it in a demo, and I wasn't, he even claimed, he says, no, don't do this at home because this is something intuitive we were doing here, but it still worked for me.
Yeah.
So I was shifting immediately. And the Rapid Recode process is basically where we use all of those 5 steps, the choosing a true choice, getting into the emotion of the end result, creating structural tension, unpacking those questions, and then doing a recode and taking aligned action. So the recode is just one of the processes. But what we do in the recode is we tap into what's called your superconscious. A lot of people have, may call it your higher self. Some people may call it, it's a memory field that's connected to all things. It's basically that we're all energy. And so we can tap into that collective energy that's connected to everything. And that we call it our genius self too, right? So we have our victim self, we have lots of parts of personalities, and then we have this higher self that has a distance and is basically, it's in science, quantum physics, they talk about its unlimited possibilities. And basically at any moment we're choosing that reality, right? And so what we do in the Recode is we unpack all of those beliefs, like asking the questions of, how does it feel, right? How does it feel to be in your end result? And you go into that. And then we bring it back and we say, well, how does it feel now? Your current reality, what's it like now in relation to that? And you get to feel that too. It's like creating 2 emotional set points. One, when you create this emotion of the end result, you're going to start resonating with it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to start feeling and notice. And then also this current reality, and you'll start to notice, okay, what feelings are here? Feeling stuck, overwhelmed, frustrated, sad, all these feelings of not being where you want to be. And then what that does is, like, imagine a rubber band. I'm missing my rubber band, but you pull back the rubber band and this creates tension, right? Because here's your end result, here's your desired result. We're pulling back to create tension. Tension is good. Tension is actually necessary for creation. It holds everything together. And so tension seeks resolution. So it always takes the path of least resistance. So by pulling this rubber band, the path of least resistance then becomes your end result, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Right? The tension is there and it just pulls you towards it.
Okay.
And so what we do is we unpack these questions, these beliefs, and then you get to see, oh, wow, underneath this fear is a belief that I'm not capable. Underneath this fear is
I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough. Underneath this is a feeling of the world is hard. Underneath this is a feeling of people would judge me. All of these things that we're not consciously aware of, we let them all come up. And then in the Recode, we basically reprogram our mind and give it new commands, like a computer. We basically, it's like an update.
And how long does this process take to do this normally? I mean, it's probably different for everyone, for every situation, but could you give me some examples?
Right. Well, I do it as a group, and I also do it one-on-one.
Okay.
Because you can do it as a group. And it takes, there's usually I usually give a coaching session on a topic, or talk about what we're going to do. And it's like education for transformation. I think it's Joe Dispenza that says that.
Okay.
And so the education part is necessary. And so that takes a little bit of time. And then the process itself can be anywhere. I mean, I literally have a 5-minute Recode tape to 20 minutes.
Wow.
It's so, I won't say easy, but it is easy, because it's not something that you're consciously controlling and doing. Because a lot of the time what we think, and I know I'm guilty of this, is if I'm not doing it and making it happen, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Right. But the thing is that though we can tap into our superconscious and get that divine guidance, and it's all us. We have the answers that we need. We have all the resources that we need. And something I'd like to focus on, or just bring attention to, is that so much of the healing modalities are in a place of fixing you, healing you, and then you can create. When I'm whole, I'll do this. When I feel better, I'll do this. When I get there, I'll be better. And that sets you up to always be chasing the carrot. And the truth is that you can create right now.
You have the carrot at all times.
Yes, you do. You have the carrot. You already have the carrot, because it's all within you. You're not broken. You don't need healing to create, right? And because healing will actually happen in the process as you're creating. So it's just something that I know for me really hit me, that, wow, I'm not broken. I don't need to go to someone else to fix me. And that's what my coaching does too, is that I'm just a facilitator.
Yeah.
I'm just somebody that empowers you, shows you, guides you back to your own power. Because, that so many people, especially what's going on in the world these days, feel so powerless and helpless to circumstances. And in all reality, we have the freedom all the time to choose how we're going to experience this reality. We're always co-creating, mind you. Life happens, right?
Yeah, it does.
But it's for me, what I with all my experiences that I share, with the abuse and the addiction and things like that, it's my responsibility. You can have things happen to you, but it's your responsibility how you define it, what meaning you put on it, and what you do with it. If you're taking that baggage with you, you can let it go.
Said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And in closing today, what do you want to leave with everyone?
Oh,
that's unfortunately we're almost out of time.
It's great. No, it's great. I would love, I offer a free consult. I would love to just talk with you if you are even thinking about this work. I also work with many other people. If I don't resonate with you, I have a tribe of coaches that I would love to refer you to. So just get in touch with me at magicaluniversecoaching.net. You can book there the consultation and a free demo Recode. So you can try it for free. You have nothing to lose. Or you can call me at 317-529-4476.
Great. And also on social media, where do we find you?
Oh, you can find me at Magical Universe Coaching is my page. And you can find me also on YouTube under Magical Universe Coaching.
With your videos. Great.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being here, for taking the time and enlightening so many of us, including myself.
Yes.
Now I have my anchor, my happy place.
Yes, you do. I'm so excited.
And we'll talk more soon. Any advice? What? Go ahead. You were going to say something.
Oh, yeah. I was going to tell you, reinforce that. Do it, and then the next week, I would love to hear. I'd love to hear how strong that's coming.
How many times a day should I be anchoring?
Oh,
is it
you
when
can
I
just
need?
do it one time a day.
Okay,
because you're just basically strengthening it and reinforcing
I want to strengthen.
it.
All right, good. I want to be in that happy place. Thank you,
Yes,
Charity.
awesome. You're
Thank you
welcome.
for putting
Thank
us
you.
in our happy place. You have a great day, and to
too.
everyone
Thank
else,
you.
the same. Stay tuned. More of the show is on the way.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.